What's going on, champs and champets? It's FireMonkey here, and honestly, we're probably in an area where we might not be getting that much in terms of in-game content for around a month. I know that sounds a little weird, and it's like, what do you mean we're not going to get content for like a month here? You know, the game's kind of in its own little spot right now. It should be fine to go ahead and get new content. So what's actually happening? So in today's YouTube video, I'll be recapping the recent information we got and telling you guys what you need to know. So firstly, Epic Games has an update schedule that they kind of publicly post for the, mainly like the UEF and creators out there in order to know when the game is going to have big content updates so that people can figure out what they're going to be doing, how to actually fix up different UEF and maps and everything to work on the new Fortnite versions. And it's a pretty nice system, especially for leakers, that allows us to actually get an idea of when these updates are going to be happening and when we can expect to see new changes, cosmetics, etc. in the actual game. However, as time has gone on, there's been times when they haven't actually put every update in there. For example, when we actually ended up getting like 0.01 updates, they don't put that in the actual update logs or anything. It's not really something that they see as really too important to actually include in there. And it makes sense, it's one of the smaller updates. However, going into the next month, we had two updates planned. We had an update planned over on the 19th, which is also the day we're going to be getting the new season, but we also had an update on the schedule planned for March 5th. Now, March 5th would have been somewhere to put like a V39.60 update, I guess you would say, but that never ended up actually up releasing or anything, of course, because 0.50, the one we're currently in, is set to be one of the last versions. However, that's not the full end to everything going on there, because in the, the API and in the update schedule, they have actually planned for a V39.51 update, but the thing you need to keep in mind is that those 0.1 updates don't actually get put on any, data logs or anything like that, or I guess I should say, they never get put on the update schedule that creators are able to see because of how small they actually are. So originally it appears like there was a bigger update planned for later in March, being on March 5th, but instead that has kind of been removed, and instead we're just going to be getting the smaller V39.51 update. So with that said, what even is this update potentially going to include? Well, we did have a miniature live event. I made a video on that yesterday that we went ahead and showcased, but usually these smaller updates, especially towards the end of the season, are to add the final bits and pieces of content that we need in order to go ahead and, for example, see another event, a story related aspect, and figure out what's actually going on in that area. So who knows? Maybe that could be what we're going to, oh god, hold on. Maybe that could be what we're going to be getting is another event to go on to, the second part of the whole the Dark Devourer, Destroyer, or whatever his name is, with the whole relic pieces, or I guess the 0 point pieces being rebuilt onto the actual bigger 0 point and everything else. Maybe we get more of the 7 introduced, because by doing the current story quests that are available, if we go over to the story category, you can see some of them right here. You are able to actually get a free loading screen that was scrapped back in the day of the Foundation, that was actually supposed to release back when the Foundation got added to the game files. So there's a lot of different areas for them to go ahead and take this update, a lot of different areas for them to go ahead and make sure that everything is kind of, settled, and they have whatever ending they want for the current season prepared properly. But it has been interesting at the very least to see so many delays happen out of nowhere. I mean, if we look at it, the music pass actually is one of the only things that didn't really get a delay, but the Lego pass got a delay, the OG pass got a delay, and even the Battle Royale Battle Pass got a delay. And then you have stuff like Reload with their rank season, getting a part 2 where it doesn't even really have a full set of rewards, just a new reward for Elite. I think it's Gold, Plat, and Elite that got new ranks or whatever, new rewards. So there's just been a lot of weird delays happening out of nowhere, and when it comes to Epic Games kind of hyping up the new season, I've seen them mention more about, hey, OG fans will like the new Battle Royale season than I've seen about normal new seasonal content. Now, I still have hopes that the new season can be a fun experience for everyone, but of course time will really just tell. But I thought I'd make today's video to let you guys know kind of what's going on with Epic Games, the update schedule right now. There is still technically one smaller update planned for this current season. It was supposed to be one more big update, but it's just going to be a 0.51 update that probably has more event files or audio logs or whatever else here and there. Until next time, however, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, and peace out.